Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Pop star Britney Spears.
Britney Spears. Britney Spears. Britney Spears.
It's my birthday. I'm not turning 42. I'm turning 5 this year. I'm turning 5 years old, and I have to go to kindergarten tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Is you, Papa? Then I'm by the lake.
If you can reach me, you can...
Hoop that is! Hoop that is! Hoop that is!
I love my job. Look at this. You get to do cool stuff like this every day.
Why is this guy who was so quick to go on GMA to tell the world that he married Britney Spears not fix this narrative? Make it make sense. Don't you think that if, God forbid, something bad were to happen, it'd be a lot easier for the public to not really raise any questions because of the narrative the public is being fed? I see a bunch of videos sometimes comparing Britney's situation to what happened with Elvis, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and Anna Nicole Smith. But what makes this different is these videos. We didn't have this for Elvis or Michael or Whitney or Anna. Fans couldn't speak up and unite like this. But afterward, in retrospect, we all agreed that the signs were there for all of them. They all had weird public appearances or lack of, and questionable people in their lives and careers. But by the time we saw it in retrospect, it was too late. They were all gone, taken right before our eyes. But right now, in real time, we're seeing and agreeing and saying that there's signs, and we're waving the flag because this doesn't feel right. We always look back and ask, why wasn't more done for them? But let's stop looking back and look what's happening right in front of us.
Yeah, we got a 5150. Hey, sub-sobers. We are going to need all units to respond to the Spears residents ASAP. What is a 5150? You've never been 5150'd before? Yeah, me either. It's very specific to the state of California, but it's not a law that is only in California. It's just named something different in other places. Here in Colorado, it's called an M1 hold. In New York, it's called a mental hygiene hold. And then there's also in Florida, they call it the Baker's Act. It's a 72-hour mental health hold that can only be initiated by a police officer or a mental health professional. However, family members can certainly call in and request assistance to implement a 5150 or the Baker's Act or a mental hygiene hold or an M1 hold. But the requirements are that this person has to be DTO, DTS, not DTF, or GD. Yeah, I know, acronyms. What do those mean? Well, it means danger to themselves, danger to others, or gravely disabled. One of the biggest stipulations for enabling the 5150 hold is that it must be mental health related. This cannot be like drug-induced or alcohol-induced. It has to be related to like dementia, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, things where this person is struggling with a mental illness that is then causing a danger to themselves, others, or has caused them to be gravely disabled. During this 72-hour stretch, each individual is monitored as well as evaluated to see if they have some underlying mental health issue going on, to see if they need to be admitted to a mental health facility, or perhaps they need to be placed into some sort of supervisory role where there's another person that is designated to help them out, help them figure out life. And even if you've never heard of this before, I know you've heard of these holds because it's the same hold that Kanye West, Amanda Bynes, Bam Margera, Britney Spears, Heather Locklear, so many celebrities have had these mental health crises and have been placed on these 5150s. In extreme cases where the person has been deemed a threat to themselves, sometimes they have to take extreme actions. They will place that person under a conservatorship so that they can be managed by another person or persons. Essentially, that person or persons takes over their entire identity. They take control of their finances. They take control of any businesses they run. They take control of their image, their name. They can sign for things. they're essentially that person. Conservatorships are usually only used for elderly people who have found themselves in a really vulnerable mental place, and family members or friends or strangers even are preying on them to take advantage of their finances. That's typically the use we see for a conservatorship, or in extreme cases of mental illness. A main requirement for a conservatorship to be placed on any individual, because of how severely it limits your individual liberties and rights, is the person has to be diagnosed with an official mental illness. And in the case of Britney Spears, we've gotten a few different explanations as to what her mental illness actually is. Most of the tabloids are saying that she has been diagnosed as bipolar. We've also been told that she was diagnosed with dementia, early onset dementia, but there's never been any proof leaked or said otherwise, most likely because of HIPAA laws. But at the same time, with something this important as a conservatorship, it would be important for the public to understand exactly what this mental illness is that got her committed and under this conservatorship in the first place. But it got me real curious. If we don't know exactly what her mental health issues are, then why are all the tabloids and news outlets talking about how she is diagnosed as bipolar? So then I was looking into other celebrities that were diagnosed as bipolar, and we've got a few interesting names on that list. Aaron Carter, Mel Gibson, Kanye West, Michael Jackson, Lindsay Lohan, and Justin Bieber. Are we seeing any patterns yet?
Let's go. Alcohol.
All right. Welcome back to Sobering Stories with me, DJ Petrovsky. If this is your first time here, well, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for clicking on that thumbnail. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, Sobers. Today's episode is brought to you by Pacific Soups. Because, well, Kim and I had this Pacific soup last night, and it was pretty good. This week's episode is going to be a little bit different in that the person we're talking about ain't dead yet. And if you haven't heard of Britney Spears, well, then what are you watching this on if you don't have a phone and you live under a rock? Like, what's going on? If you've been with me for a while, then you know that there's certain things that just immediately trigger you into thinking something's amiss, something's up. What's going on here? And for me, that came this week. I really was struggling to figure out who to talk about. And my super amazing neighbors, who are diehard Sobering Stories fans, actually ordered some merch this week. And I texted her and was like, yo, thank you for ordering merch. Also, who should I talk about? And she was like, maybe Britney Spears. And I thought that was really interesting because I had just seen a couple videos pop up on my feed that week talking about Britney Spears and how erratic she's acting and all the crazy stuff she's doing and how it's very reminiscent of 2007. Oh no! And all I could think of was, are they going to take out Britney next? This feels like Aaron Carter all over again. In fact, if we think back to Aaron Carter's story, he even said that his family and his parents were actively working to put him under a conservatorship, just like Britney. And after we dove in deep with the Michael Jackson story, and I realized how awful the media was to him and how they were so successful in making him look like something he wasn't, it made me wonder, did they do the same to Britney Spears? And this poor girl, she lived 14 years of straight up trauma, inflicted by her own parents. I could not even imagine what that's like. And now that she's been freed and everything's kosher, the media is back talking about Britney Spears. They just won't leave her alone.
Leave Britney alone! Please!
And we know she'll never go into another conservatorship. She'll never do that again. So we don't have many other options if we want to control Britney Spears and her finances and her catalog and her life. But everything going on the way it is, it's got me real worried for Britney. So I wanted to share her story, educate people on the truth about everything that's happened to her, just give you guys something to think about. Plus, when Britney hit the scene, I was like 10 to 12 years old, sprouting, maturing, young adolescent man. She was legitimately my first celebrity crush, 100%. That Catholic schoolgirl outfit, man.
I need to know if Britney's skirt was always black or was it plaid? For those who said black, you were wrong. Her skirt recently changed to black in the last few years, but it was always plaid. I held a poll on my Instagram, the results don't lie. This is definitely a Mandela effect, okay? Now people will say, no, it was black, it was plaid during performances. No, it was plaid because I dressed as Britney Spears a lot growing up for talent shows, and it was plaid. Her skirt was not this long. As you can see, it's pretty long here. Her socks were white like the ones in the back, and she didn't have the purple shirt underneath. People are going to come in here and say other things, and that's okay. Maybe we're living different timelines. This is a Mandela effect. This is what it is. And if her skirt was always black, then why did John Cena dress as her with a plaid skirt in his new movie from 2024? He is clearly dressed as Britney Spears and very clearly wearing a plaid skirt. What's interesting is the day that I did the poll, Britney posted this.
But I digress. Britney Jean Spears was born on December 2nd, 1981 in Macomb, Mississippi. She was the middle of 3 children, older brother Brian and younger sister, you might also know her, Jamie Lynn Spears, or Zoe. They were all born to Jamie and Lynn Spears. And Jamie was a boilermaker and a welder, and I had no idea what a boilermaker was. I was like, what? I hear that term, but I just never know what it is. And then I felt real dumb when I found out that a boilermaker is just a guy who makes boilers and installs them. His job would take him on month-long trips doing welding jobs for different oil refineries. So he was typically gone, and most of the family remembers that he was not around very often. He also struggled pretty seriously with alcoholism, and it caused a lot of drama and fueled a lot of the dysfunction in their household. Lynn was a 5th grade teacher, and she loved her kids more than anything. She actually had a really, really close relationship with Britney when she was younger, especially since Jamie was always on the road or always gone, wasn't really present for them, so they became very close. As you likely already suspected, the Princess of Pop was born to be a star. At the age of 3, she was already singing Like a Virgin by Madonna at a local talent show. 3 years old. By the age of 5, her mom started getting her involved in beauty pageants, which of course involves, a talent portion, and she would utilize that to sing. She loved singing.
Had no love and sense, God knows what. I'm not of this morn. Come on and shine.
And at the age of 7, she would find a love for dancing when her parents enrolled her in gymnastics, fully setting her up to be a musical entertainer superstar. When she was 8 years old, she auditioned for the all-new Mickey Mouse Club, which was a revamp of the original. And unfortunately, they said that she was too young and they denied her. But that didn't crush her dreams. She decided to push on, and when she was 11, she actually got to audition and sing for the show Star Search in 1992.
Love can build a bridge. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
That same year, she also re-auditioned for the all-new Mickey Mouse Club, and she was actually selected this time. And she was selected with a cast of people that would become massive names. Christina Aguilera, Ryan Gosling, Justin Timberlake, Kerry Russell. Massive, massive names all came from this one little TV show.
Hi, Linda. Listen, my dad's gonna drive a bunch of us to the movies. Would you like to go?
Yikes. It's Friday and that creepy kid you've been avoiding asked you to go to the movies. And oh no, you've got minty fresh bread. Now you could try to come up with an excuse, or you could try something even better. New, yeah, breath spray.
Oh, hi, Marvin. What's up? Ew! Were you drinking curdle milk and skunk sweat or something?
No, but it sure smells like I was.
So she packed her bags, moved down to Orlando, Florida, and she worked for 2 years on this show. But in 1994, they canceled the show, So she ended up packing her bags again, moving back home, where she was actually living in Kentwood, Louisiana. This is where she grew up, but she would actually go to high school in the town that she was born, Macomb, Mississippi, because I guess it was just across the border, and the town she lived in was only like 2,000 people there. Very much the Bible Belt, chicken farms, church choirs, you know, southern living. Britney went to Park Lane High School. She played basketball, and she also never stopped working on her dreams of becoming a musical performer. When she was 16 years old, she was approached by the very trustworthy, very honest music manager for both the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, Lou Pearlman. He wanted to form a girls' boy band, a girls' band called Innosense. She said that she'd do it. She decided to join, but very quickly realized she's not a girl band kind of girl. She wants to do her very own solo gig, and she does. And in that same year of 1997, she auditioned for a company called Jive Records, and they loved her. They ate it up. So they offered her a record contract, and that's when she starts putting out music, starting with her very first hit single, Baby One More Time. Hit me, baby, one more time. And you already know, this song was massive. It hit #1 on the Billboard charts by January of 1999, and shortly after that, she released her debut studio album, also entitled Baby One More Time, and it hit #1 on the billboards in the US and in Canada. At the turn of the century, in the year 2000, at the age of 19 years old, she released her second studio album, Oops, I Did It Again. Oops, I did it again to your heart. And this album was massive. It sold 1.3 million copies in the first week, making it the fastest selling female artist album ever. It was also certified diamond, which I didn't know what that meant. It means it sold 10 million copies. Now, here's a little fun fact for you guys that most Britney fans will be like, yeah, everybody knows that. Britney would release in her 2023 memoir that her and Justin Timberlake, around this time period of, 1998 to 2001, they were hooking up. They were kind of an item, and they ended up getting pregnant because they were both just starting their massive careers. Justin especially didn't want to have to deal with a baby at that point, so they decided to not have the baby. I guess that's not really a fun fact. Kind of a sad. In 2001, she would release her third studio album titled Britney. It would hit 4 times platinum, so fairly successful, but not nearly as successful as her second album. And then she would release her fourth studio album in 2003, titled In the Zone. With this fourth album hitting #1 on the charts, that would make her the first female to have 4 studio albums hit #1 after release. This album also featured the track Me Against the Music, which featured Madonna.
Hey Britney, you say you wanna lose control. Come over here, I got something to show ya.
And it seems like this relationship went a little further than just that one song, because in that same year of 2003, Madonna introduced Britney Spears to Kabbalah. Kabbalah is an ancient offshoot of Judaism that has a more mainstream focus on mystic experiences. It's considered Jewish mysticism. Within Kabbalah, there are a few different avenues you can go. Obviously, with any religious belief system, there's multiple different avenues within it. With Kabbalah, there's 2 main sectors of the religion or the belief system. And the first one is authentic Kabbalah, which is also called Sephirot. This represents the tree of life and using these mystic experiences to actually attain spiritual enlightenment and bring yourself closer to God. The other side of that token is represented by the tree of death. Typically, the only people that were practicing authentic Kabbalah were really high up members of society, high up priests, people with really extensive spiritual knowledge. It was kind of a status symbol to be considered a Kabbalist. And the same is true for the other side of things, which is called Kelipot Kabbalah. And within this belief system, it's focused more on power, divination, self-exaltation. They perform necromancy and different rituals. It's long been associated with the occult. Kabbalah is also responsible for the origins of gematria, where you break everything down into numbers, finding mathematical patterns between different things, which is used quite a bit by the occult. In fact, one of the groups that's most notorious for adopting this belief system is the Freemasons. Because just as Sephiroth Kabbalah actually represents a higher spiritual enlightenment, a more elevated status, the same can be true for the other side of things with Kelapot Kabbalah. They use rituals and sacrifices and magic to try and attain worldly power, worldly divination, all of these worldly treasures, essentially. So to be high up in this occult Kabbalah church is yet again considered to be a status symbol, which is why it should come as no surprise that there are many, many, many wealthy elites and celebrities who have joined this religious cult sector church, maybe, I don't know. And you can tell because they all wear this thin red bracelet, usually has like the Star of David or a little Hamsa sign on it, and it's meant to protect them and offer healing, but also it just represents that they're in the club. Some of these celebrities include Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, Lindsay Lohan, Katy Perry, Ariana Grande, Monica Lewinsky, Elizabeth Taylor, Mick Jagger, Paris Hilton, and of course we've got Britney Spears and Madonna, who brought her into the church. And proof that Britney is a member of this Kabbalah, cult, religion, whatever, is that she has this tattoo on her neck that is notorious Kabbalah symbols, and it stands for the power of healing. So either it had a huge impact on her, or this is some sort of ritualistic marking kind of thing. And Madonna actually runs the Kabbalah Center in LA. I really don't know what they do there. I guess just like a place for Kabbalists to go, hang out, maybe a money laundering operation. Who knows? I do know that the guys who lead the Kabbalah Center, one of them has been accused of SA on a younger girl. So, I mean, it couldn't be the best place in the world, but I really don't know much about it. In 2004, Britney would start dating and then very quickly after that, marry one of her backup dancers and party boys, Kevin Federline, aka K-Fed, and he was extremely unpopular. Nobody really liked him. People didn't feel like he was good enough for legendary Britney Spears. And they were probably right. On September 14th of 2005, K-Fed and Britney would have their very first kiddo, named Sean Preston Federline. Exactly a year later, on September 12th of 2006, they would have their second son, Jaden James Federline. And I know you guys love fun facts, so let's throw another one in there, an actual fun one this time. Britney and K-Fed got married on September 18th of 2004. On September 14th, 2005, they had their first son. September 12th, 2006, they had their second son. So these birthdays and anniversary is within 6 days of each other. That's pretty fun, right? But you know what's not fun? Divorce. Britney decided in 2006 that she was going to divorce Kevin Federline because he just couldn't stop partying, leaving on whatever dance trips, business trips, just constantly leaving her with the kiddos at home by herself. She felt like, what's the point? Like, he's not here anyways. So they decided to split up.
I know, but it's the biggest news in the country, ladies and gentlemen. Britney Spears is leaving K-Fed!
That same year, she would not only leave K-Fed, but she would also leave the Kabbalah church, cult, whatever, leaving that completely behind, saying that my baby is my religion. And I totally get that. When you have a baby, you're just infatuated with them, in love with them. It's all you want to do. Just hang out with them all the time. Following the album Britney in 2002, her parents had finally had enough of each other, and Lynn had finally had enough of Jamie's drinking and alcohol problems. So they decided to get a divorce. Kind of seemed like it was long overdue. But of course, with a divorce, Dr. Seuss, there always seems to come a custody battle right along with that. And Britney's already been very open and vocal about how her kids are extremely important to her. So losing her kids for any amount of time is definitely not going to be good. On top of everything else, she's been diagnosed with postpartum depression after giving birth to her second son. So she's dealing with all of this traumatic stuff going on around her while also dealing with this trauma inside of her. And as if there wasn't enough on this stack, the paparazzi kicks it into overdrive at this point, and I had a couple of thoughts on that. First of all, this could be considered Britney Spears, the Princess of Pop, legendary, gorgeous superstar. This could be a mild fall from grace, and of course the paparazzi eats that stuff up. So that could be a reason for the increased paparazzi scrutiny and media coverage. But I also thought that it was very interesting timing that she had just left this church of Kabbalah, and now all of this really negative stuff starts coming out, happening to her, being publicized, and who controls the media? The wealthy elites. So if there's wealthy elites that are members of this Kabbalah, then what leads us to believe that this wasn't organized and intentional, trying to push Britney over the edge? And unfortunately, it seemed to be working, because throughout 2006 and 2007, the tabloids would just continue to light Britney up, talking about how she is unsafe, she is losing it, she is spiraling. They note a few different incidents, none of which really make me feel like she is spiraling. There's videos of her walking and tripping, almost dropping her baby. But like, man, I can't tell you how many times I tripped and almost dropped my baby, so it's pretty normal. Another video surfaces with Britney driving with her 2-year-old son on her lap in the front seat. This one was big. People were freaking out about this, but Britney herself says that she was just trying to escape the paparazzi in fear for her son and her safety, and she was just trying to get in the car and go as quick as possible. She didn't really have time to put him in the back seat. And if you've ever witnessed Britney getting swarmed by paparazzi at her cars, yeah, I can't imagine trying to put a kid in a car seat with that happening around me. Because of Britney's postpartum depression, she was not leaving the house. She was laying in bed for weeks at a time. She wasn't responding to text messages or phone calls from her family, just acting extremely out of character. And it worried a lot of members of her family, which was another clue for them that something wasn't right. She has postpartum depression, so actually that sounds about right. Then in February of 2007, probably the biggest thing that everybody's going to remember is that Britney Spears shaved her head.
To a story that is burning up the internet, it's burning up water cooler talk, it's just burning this morning, yes. Britney Spears, she's bald. We've got this photo now from the X17online.com, and it appears to show the pop star shaving her own head.
She came in and she said she wanted her head shaved. The hairdresser refused, so she literally grabbed the hair clipper and started doing it herself.
Bradley, did she say why? I mean, did she
Yes.
offer any information?
They asked why she wanted to shave her head, and she said, I don't want anyone touching me. I'm tired of everybody touching me. Another employee there told Us Magazine she wasn't making sense at all, and you could tell she's not in a good place at all, and that she's totally freaking out.
Let us walk, please.
Britney, why do you touch your hair like that?
It's small!
Oh my god! She is completely bald. She is completely bald.
And that was a huge shock to everybody because she's gorgeous and her hair was a huge part of that image. So for her to just shave it off was insane. The reason she shaved her head was because she was sick and tired of people touching on her, having their hands on her hair, just whatever. But I don't really know if that makes any sense, number one. But number two, maybe it was just a ploy to try and get people to not really be interested in her because she shaved her head. So they don't want to put a picture of a shaved head Britney Spears on the front of a magazine. So I don't know, maybe she thought she would make herself less attractive or less desirable, less sought after, and maybe the paparazzi would finally let up. But of course, they don't. They just double, triple down. Instead of realizing Britney was under intense pressure and heavy scrutiny, and she was also dealing with clinical postpartum depression, her family and friends all assumed that this must be drug-related. This has to be drugs, because what else would cause her to act this way? So she was admitted to a place called Promises. It's a rehab facility. She was expected to stay for 30 days. but she was actually released the following day because she had passed a pee test. The only thing she tested positive for was her prescribed Adderall, so she wasn't under the influence of anything. In fact, throughout her long career, Britney was not really a drinker. She had experimented here and there, she'd tried the white coffee table powders, she drank a little bit, but she was not a drinker, nor was she into hard drugs. So the only drug that she really took was Adderall. And why do you think she took that? Probably because she was always working. She was always grinding, always on the go. But that part really got to me, you guys, because you don't just send somebody to rehab for no reason without any documented proof that she even has an addiction problem. That doesn't make any sense. The only reason that that would make sense is if you're kind of like Courtney Love and you're using this to push a specific image that you want people to see. Maybe Jamie Spears and people who were behind this upcoming conservatorship were wanting Britney to look a certain way to make what they were planning even easier. To make things even worse for Britney, the day after she shaved her head, she was, accosted by some of the paparazzi. She got pissed off and she took an umbrella and put a bunch of dents in this dude's car. Things would really hit a tipping point on January 3rd of 2008. At this point, Britney seems to have had some real serious daddy issues growing up because she seems to just go for any guy who treats her with kindness and respect. One of the paparazzi that was following her around offered to pump her gas. Dude's name was Adnan, and because he was so nice to her, she wanted him around all the time to be the one that photographed her, and eventually they sparked up a relationship. But once that ended and she didn't have Adnan around to kind of protect her from the paparazzi, that's when Sam Lutfi steps in.
Will you please get out? What? I don't care about them right now. I want to drive a car. Are you going to get out? Oh my God, will you please get out of the way? No, I'm scared you're going to drive off without me. Like, get out, get a passenger seat, get out of the car, get out, get out, get out. Thank you. And you're going to sit right here. Sit down. Thank you. Drive my car, that's what I got to do.
And Sam Lutfi is someone we've talked about before. We talked about him with the Kurt Cobain case in my Freaky Coincidences episode, because he was accused of plotting to kidnap and steal Kurt Cobain's MTV Unplugged guitar that he was gifted from Frances Bean. But Courtney Love was pissed that he had this guitar and Frances was separating from Isaiah, and she didn't think that he should have this guitar. It's said that she hired Sam Lutfi and a couple of other guys to go in, rough him up, kidnap him, and take this guitar back. Isaiah himself says he believes with everything inside of him that if his friend wasn't there to save him, that he was definitely not going to be alive today. And Sam Lutfi just seems kind of like a leech, in my opinion. I don't really know how to feel about this guy. He's kind of an enigma to me, because on one hand, he gives a really convincing interview talking about his experience with Britney and how he really tried to help her. But then on the other end, we see that he's tried to insert himself into multiple situations where these celebrities have hit pretty much rock bottom. He did it with Britney Spears. He tried to do it with Lindsay Lohan, unsuccessfully. And he also did it with the guy from Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland. He claims to just be acting as her manager because at this point she had basically fired everybody on her team. She couldn't trust anybody. So he was acting as her manager, quote unquote, although this is unofficial. This is never documented. This is never actually officialized. It's just a word of mouth agreement between the two, I guess. But he basically just protects her from the paparazzi, takes her where she needs to go. He's a listening ear for her when she needs to talk. And he says that she really doesn't have anybody. She can't talk or confide in her family. She doesn't have any friends. So he really was the only person that she could confide in at that time. Now, according to Sam, on January 3rd, 2008, Britney was just enjoying a nice normal visitation with her two sons, but before she sends them back over to their dad's house, she usually gives them a bath, makes sure they have nice clothes to wear, make sure they've been fed, all of these things. And I guess she needed a little bit more time to make sure that all happened, so she had asked for permission to get an extra hour with the boys.
So I go into the house. I'm like, you guys got to stay out. Like, get the hell out of here. Like, let's go. And I run upstairs, and Britney is just in the bathroom, finishing up giving one of the kids a bath. She's like, hey, I asked to relay to Kevin, I need another hour, you know, because we were late. So I wanted to bathe them and put these new outfits on him. And he said, it's okay. I ran downstairs. Kevin's bodyguard's there. He's got his big SUV. And I said, hey, she said that she could have another hour. Who called us in? He said, not me, man. I don't know. I'm just here. I go, but he's allowed every week. He comes to pick up the kids. So he's allowed entry. He can go into the house, grab the kids or anything. He's sitting outside.
The bodyguard.
Yeah. And I look back in the other car and there's a Mercedes and there's Mark Kaplan. So it's her lawyer out there. I go, oh.
Kevin is lawyer, Mark Kaplan, yeah.
So I said, oh no. And so I try to call Mark. No one's picking up a call. Try to call Kevin. It's like, wait a minute. I pretty much got confirmation from the bodyguard that somebody had agreed that she could have an extra hour. Mind you, I was not there. So she had a court-ordered baby monitor that was there, supervisor, and the nanny. And they all told me the same thing, that, hey, she wanted an extra hour, and they granted it to her, and then they pulled a fast one on her. They said, oh, you're past the hour. It's not turned in. The cops are coming, you know, whatever. And so I went in and said, hey, you know, they're going to do this. And she just was like, I refused to be treated this way. It's not going to happen. I got an hour. I'm getting that hour. And I thought, this is not going to end well. And so
once again, using the kids against her.
And then they ordered, oh, it's a certain time. You need to go in there and grab those children. And the only way to get them away from her was they had to call in a 5150 psychiatric hold on her, saying that she refused to hand over the kids, when that's not true at all. It's not true.
20 police cars were dispatched in order to handle this situation. 20 police cars. And this is when she gets placed on a 5150 hold. The worst part about this is that they had told Britney that the police were gone and kind of coaxed her to come out from being locked in this bathroom or bedroom. And when she came out, that's when they apprehended her. They strapped her down to a gurney, put her in the back of an ambulance, made this huge scene so that, of course, the paparazzi in the world could see how crazy Britney Spears is. And they take her to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, and she's admitted for a 72-hour 5150 hold. Britney is held for 72 hours. She is considered stable, so the hospital has no other choice but to release her. A month goes by, well, not quite a month, but January 31st of 2008, she is actually readmitted under the same 5150 hold so that she can undergo psychiatric evaluations and undergo different testing to see, I don't know, if she's competent or if she's struggling with a mental illness. Now, these two holds are extremely important because they are the foundation upon which Jamie Spears built his entire conservatorship case. And on February 1st of 2008, Jamie Spears would officially file paperwork to enter into a conservatorship over Britney Spears, in which him, her brother Brian Spears, and this third-party mutual court-appointed financier guy who's basically there just as a third-party middleman to make sure things are up to snuff, who was also paid by the Spears family, interestingly enough. But they're all co-conservators for this conservatorship over Britney Spears. And this is not Mr. Wallet's first case. In fact, it's not his first case even working underneath the courtship of this judge, Reva Goetz, who is not, in fact, the GOAT. It almost seems like this is a very profitable way for them to make money on the side, working for these families, offering this service, and these families are then forced to pay for this person's services. He gets a portion of whatever Britney Spears' earnings are. I think it's like 5%. So he's getting paid pretty well to do this. Now, if you can recall from the beginning of our episode, we talked about one of the qualifications for a conservatorship being that you have to have an official diagnosis. I will say that again. You have to have an official diagnosis of a mental health condition. With Britney's team suddenly throwing this all on her and saying that she needs to be in this conservatorship, they have to have proof and a diagnosis showing that she is either a danger to herself, others, or she's gravely disabled. In order to find this proof, Jamie's lawyers start calling around trying to find some doctor that will do an evaluation or vouch that she has some sort of mental health condition. They get a hold of one of her old psychiatrists, Dr. Long. She calls him up and says, hey, we'd love to get a statement from you or have you come out and evaluate Britney. He says that he's going to contact his lawyer and get back to him. They call him again and he says, yeah, my lawyer advised me not to talk to you guys at all. So they call his lawyer And his lawyer says, yeah, we're not going to make a statement or help you guys out at all. Sorry. So he basically blows them off. So they're in a pinch right now. They're trying to find a doctor desperately that can certify Britney as needing to be in this conservatorship because of a mental health condition. What are they going to do? Well, they finally find a geriatric dementia specialist whose name is Dr. Spar. He comes in and he does an evaluation on Britney Spears. And by evaluation on Britney Spears, I mean he looks at the medical records from the 25150 Cedars-Sinai Medical Center reports. He looks at the description of what happened. He takes in the reports fully. And that's what he makes his professional diagnosis of for Britney. Isn't that insane? First of all, this doctor says that Britney is suffering from extremely early onset dementia. And I looked it up, like it is totally possible that people all the way from 20 years old to as old as you can be can experience dementia. It's not something exclusively for old people. So it is possible, but very unlikely, especially because Britney was going through so much in her personal life that it just didn't seem like dementia was necessarily the explanation that made any sense. Because it took Jamie's team so long to certify this mental health condition, they weren't able to get anything certified with the courts until this was submitted. Britney was actually released from her 72-hour hold, and she immediately goes and contacts attorney Adam Streisand. They file a report saying that she does not want to be in this conservatorship, and she starts trying to fight it with this attorney. But because of this doctor's report saying that she is not competent, they rule her incompetent to even choose her own representation. So the courts have to appoint her a lawyer, which of course they're going to appoint her just some guy, some lawyer, but he's making $3 million for this case. So he's going to milk it, I'm sure, as much as he can. Typically, you're supposed to get 5 days notice if you're going to be placed into a conservatorship. In Britney's case, they petitioned so that they could forego that requirement because it was a danger to herself if she didn't go into this, and she might do something crazy if she found out this was happening. So they made a special exception, and they actually didn't give her any notice that this was happening, which is why she didn't even realize she couldn't hire her own attorney, and suddenly she was in a conservatorship with no way out. It was initially supposed to be temporary, but right away, Jamie files for it to be permanent. Seemingly out of nowhere, this spokeswoman comes forth for the Spears family, and she starts explaining everything that's going on to the public. She's telling everybody that this is for Britney's own good. We are saving her life. We're making sure that she's safe and okay. And once she's deemed safe by a doctor, we're going to get her back out on the road and touring, you bet your bottom dollar.
Every day, Jamie goes to work as a professional chef, asking the Lord to give him the strength. That Lynn Spears is a mother that is brokenhearted just because she's apart from her daughter, that she loves her daughter so much. And again, asking every day for God to give her strength. That I would really hope that all those who seek God for strength in their life would be interceding for this family, because Jamie Spears, Lynn Spears, Brian, and Jamie Lynn Spears are all amazing people.
Nobody knows who this lady is, why she's here, where she came from. But apparently Jamie had hired her and this company TriStar Sports and Entertainment to manage their finances. Apparently this company specializes in cash flow operations management. They had given Jamie a $40,000 loan to help him with this whole conservatorship case because he can't really use Britney's money yet. Once entered into this conservatorship, then of course they get paid a cut of all of Britney's royalties and earnings because of their services. And this Lou Taylor chick is accompanied by her husband, who is the pastor and owner of a church, and this other lady named Robin Greenhill. Now, TriStar Sports and Entertainment, as well as Lou Taylor, they have been the financial manager for some really interesting celebrities, including Taylor Hill, Lindsay Lohan, and Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Brother Love Combs. In fact, during the whole Puffy trial, they found out that this Robin Greenhill chick was in charge of paying all of the people involved with these different freak-offs because, well, they managed the financial assets. So they knew exactly what was going on, which means they were complicit in what was going on, which means they should be partially liable for what was going on. But more than anything, it means that their moral compass is mostly bankrupt, but that's how they continue to make money so that they aren't bankrupt. And Lou Taylor denies any involvement in setting up this whole conservatorship situation with Britney, but emails dating back to early January prove that her and Jamie and the lawyers were actually working on a plan to get Britney in this conservatorship. It's almost like they just needed her to kind of fit the role. And because of this $40,000 donation that she made to Jamie Spears, she basically forces him to take Brian Spears off of the whole conservatorship as co-conservator and add her on instead. And this email that we see is extraordinarily redacted. Like, what is going on here? What could possibly be in this email that we aren't supposed to see? Kind of makes you wonder. Which is why I found it very interesting that the night before Britney's highly criticized 2007 Video Music Award performance of her song Gimme More,
You get me in a crazy position if you're on a mission. Give me more, give me more,
she was attending a Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Brother Love Combs party. Her performance was said to have been real low energy, and she was having a hard time even lip syncing. So they attribute this to her attendance at that party. But it kind of makes you wonder what really happened to her at that party. Why was she so out of it? Was she slip something at that party? I don't know. Might mean something, might mean nothing. But it is interesting. So I don't know if this Lou Taylor chick was in on setting everything up or making Britney look like this. I feel like she was. But what I do know is that her husband owns a church, and they have all of their payments go through this church. And if you know anything about churches, they're nonprofit, they don't pay taxes, so that seems kind of money laundery to me, kind of. Very quickly, Jamie Spears' legal team issues a restraining order on Sam Lutfi, so he can't come anywhere near them or Britney. Then they start slandering him, saying that he was like drugging her food and doing all this awful stuff to her, being super abusive, cutting her phone lines, when Sam actually says that they were the ones doing all of that stuff.
So do you approve of the life that Britney's living right now, leading right now?
I'm not the one to answer that, but maybe you should ask her that.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be kind of cool if you guys were able to talk to her. Wouldn't that be cool?
No, that'd be great.
If she was able to talk, 27-year-old, can't really speak,
Well, her
doesn't
father-
have a cell phone, can't see her friends. A little odd, don't you think? 27-year-old touring the whole world?
Yeah.
No?
Well, you know, she's making money for everybody.
She's making money for everyone but herself, maybe. She's not really concerned with money, you know?
Yeah.
Britney's not that type of person, so...
Oh, really?
No. She's a normal sweetheart, mother of two, 27-year-old, you know? Very successful superstar. Can't have a phone and go where she wants and see who she wants. I think that's a little unfair, don't you think?
It's almost like slavery, modern-day slavery.
Don't you think?
Almost. Sounds like it.
Well, you know, maybe instead of you guys getting your info from other people, you should try to get a hold of her yourself and see what she has to say. I think you guys would be rather pretty surprised.
If she talked to us, I would definitely film
If she was allowed to.
She was allowed
I'm sure she would love to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
But she's not allowed to.
Do you think she's more miserable now than she was back
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
She must be going through a lot of hard stuff right now. Then.
Well, wouldn't you if you weren't able to go anywhere and do whatever you wanted and govern constantly and you notice there's no friends around, it's just assistants and agents and come on guys, 2 years of this, it's a little nonsense, you know? I mean, where they're going to, you know, place all the everything on these allegations that the parents made about me, which are all false, you know, and I think we'll see that in court soon, you know? Those are horrendous allegations those people made. Just unfortunate circumstances, you know? Talking about drugging people, to the contrary, you know.
So you did nothing of the case?
God, no. Never. No.
Sam, are you going to do contact with it if it gets lifted?
Or? I can't answer that, but I wouldn't see why not. She's still a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
You know?
So when is the last time you made contact with her?
Can't answer that. Can't answer that. But hope we'll see you guys soon, someday, soon.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
under different circumstances where she can talk to you guys and wave and say hi, like you know any other artist or any other normal person in America.
Give us a call if she's ready to talk with you.
All right, why don't you guys try calling her? You guys seem to be in contact with her people. You know, why don't you ask to put her on the phone?
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe they're a little frightened from what she might say.
Oh, maybe.
You know, maybe. Who knows? Have a good night, guys.
Thank you very much, Sam.
See ya.
In fact, he files a civil lawsuit against Lynn Spears for slandering his name and accuses her of actually being guilty of all the things she accuses him of. So it's kind of interesting. The back and forth is really weird, but I do get a sense of honesty and emotion coming from Sam Lutfi when he talks about everything. Plus, he hasn't done any interviews about any of this until literally this year. And this interview is really good. You should go watch it. I'll link it in the description and put a card up here. But super good interview with Sam, gets his perspective on the whole situation. So with Sam out, more bodyguards in, Britney's under constant surveillance. They monitor her cell phone with a connected iPad so they can see what her messages are saying. They monitor her every move, who she talks to. They basically completely isolate this poor girl. Even weirder though, her dad moves in with her. There's this amazing documentary that comes out called For the Record, and it's basically a behind the scenes look at how Britney Spears' life was during that whole time period where she was freshly under this new conservatorship. Honestly, it's heartbreaking to see her talking about how awful it is.
I think people believe what they read and what they hear, and it's not even really the truth.
All the lawyers and doctors and people analyzing me every day, and I'm kind of stuck in this place, and it's like, how do you deal? You just cope, and that's what I do. I just cope with it every day. It's like, it's bad. I'm sad. Even when you go to jail, there's always the time that you know that you're gonna get out, you know.
Do you feel out of control in your life?
No, I don't feel like it's out of control. I think it's too in control. Groundhog Day every day, you know.
And I feel like it's important for me to do this film so people will understand what's really going on.
And friends talk about how when her dad's around, she's noticeably a different person. Just scared, kind of timid, very obedient. It's just so sad to see. Plus, this For the Record documentary is not super easy to find. You can find it online, but they certainly didn't push this documentary out at all. They did not want you to see Britney's side of the story and see just how well and competent she actually was. People would totally question this conservatorship if they saw it. And it's really unfortunate how long this Britney Spears mental health crisis psyop was allowed to take advantage of all of us. Because we all thought that Britney was losing it, and this was a good thing for her. But it really wasn't. They were giving her lithium to basically make her agreeable and complacent. She basically was a zombie. She talks about hating it. She would occasionally post Instagram posts talking about how awful this drugging situation was, as well as just her life in general. And then she would quickly delete the posts, very quickly. Despite them putting her into a rehab facility for drug use, they would reward her with Adderall if she was willing to perform and did the things that they wanted. But the worst thing that they do consistently throughout this entire 14-year conservatorship is they hold her kids over her head. They say, if you don't do this, if you don't do this tour, if you don't give us this money, if you don't do what we want, we will not let you see your kids. And let me tell you guys, I went through a period of 6 months where I wasn't allowed to see Bodhi because of court stuff, because I messed up, because just alcohol. It was the hardest 6 months of my entire life. Not seeing your kids is one thing, but physically not being able to see them, you cannot see them, is a whole different situation. And I was definitely starting to go mad because of it. It's part of the reason I relapsed so hard, actually. That's just the way she goes, I guess.
That's right. It's the way she goes. Sometimes she goes, sometimes it doesn't. She didn't go. It's the way she goes.
And for Britney, I'm sure she was experiencing something very similar. I can totally imagine her losing her mind under this conservatorship more than she was prior to it. And they would work her like a freaking dog in order to set the stage to show people that this conservatorship was actually a great idea and a good thing and it was doing good for Britney. They have her start working on a new album, Circus, and then they have her embark immediately on a promotional world tour called the Circus Tour. In fact, from 2008 till 2017, Britney would produce 4 studio albums. She would embark on 3 world tours. She would be a featured judge/guest host on The X Factor with Simon Cowell, and she would also be featured on an episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Doctor, are you all right? I heard a woman screaming in here. Oh. Sir, please don't yell at me. Because when people yell at me, I have a tendency to start crying.
I stopped for coffee and I thought I'd grab you something.
Oh, wow, thank you. That's so nice. You're like a knight. I should call you Sir Ted. Hi, Ted. I'll let her know.
Telepathically?
That's
funny. That's funny, smart, and great.
We just have to go by my hotel room first. My bed was broken.
But then if it's fixed, can we have sex on it and then go shopping?
I like you.
So, for someone who is considered incompetent, she's doing pretty damn good. And of course she is, because all of these people who are leeching off of her in this conservatorship, they're not going to pay themselves. And this Robin Greenhill lady is ruthless in how she schedules for Britney and sets things up. They even have her working on her freaking birthday.
Right, she can work too? 2 is Ellen. That's right. 2 is her birthday. Is she going to be okay working on her birthday?
Sure. What do you want her to play?
No, I mean, can she rehearse on her birthday?
She's going to rehearse.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So we need full-day rehearsals for those 9 days. I mean, yeah.
This basically slavery would continue all the way up until December 31st of 2017, when Britney would announce an indefinite hiatus from touring and music and basically her career.
What are you doing here? I actually have a huge announcement to make. My announcement is actually that I have an announcement.
All right. Okay, so there's an announcement to make an announcement, and what is the announcement of the announcement?
I can't announce the announcement until October 18th.
Okay, so what was the announcement? It was domination. A lot of you didn't see it, so let me paint the picture for you. They closed down Vegas. We get rumors, okay, that she's going to announce a residency at a new show. They're going to do something really spectacular. The whole strip's closed down. The whole freaking Vegas strip. So you're expecting something grand, right? Well, look.
All right, everyone, we are here to welcome the new queen of Vegas.
So that's one of the hosts. They're outside the MGM Grand. Again, Vegas shut down. Big announcement expected. Big hype. There's a stage. There's dancers. There's a lot going on. So fans are waiting for a long time, and then finally Britney arrives, and this is what we see. So it starts with this like montage, this video playing on the side of the MGM, and then boom, the flyer appears, domination, and then Britney rises from a stage right there. Awkward. Well, not awkward yet. We all thought something still was going to happen, so keep on watching. Okay, homegirls arrived. She's just standing there.
Britney Spears.
Announcer. I think that's Mario Lopez. So she's just there, standing there. No microphone, nothing, so she starts to walk. And she's going to walk for a very long time. She goes up to fans, signs a few autographs, very fast, says hello, just signing stuff. No announcement yet. She hasn't said anything. Remember, there's a stage off to the side, but there's dancers over there. But she's just walking through the red carpet, saying hello to people. She says hello to the host, says hello right there. She keeps on signing autographs, whatever. So everything seems normal still. We're still expecting something. Back to go to fans, or continue walking. See, just keeps on walking. She's still walking. Homegirl's still walking. She's still walking. Just keep on walking. She's just walking and waving. She stops real fast to sign something else. Oh my God, wait, no, she keeps on going. Okay, see? Host is waiting too. He's like, oh, what's going on? Something's going on. What? What is that? That's her car. She's walking to the car. That's it. Look, the fans are like, what's going on? What's going on? This queen is like, I'll just improvise and just do something because word's going around, Britney got in the car. Like, what's going on? She didn't say anything. She literally just walked. There's another shot of the big building, the big billboards plastered up there. Wait, where's she? Nope, she's gone. Bam, she left. So at this point, they're just doing random shots of everything because there's nothing going on. Britney's gone. Britney literally left already. Homegirl's still dancing because look, Britney's gone. So there's nothing to really do anymore. Everyone's just kind of like, it's like freestyle. No one knows what's going on. There's the dark stage where something was supposed to go on. That's where she came up from, but it's dark now. He's getting cued for something like, what's going on? Should I say something? We don't know what's going on. We're still waiting to get word. Oh, now? Oh, okay. What's going on?
Go. Hey, everybody. Well, you have heard it here. Finally, Britney Spears' new residency here at the Park MGM. Domination is coming to you next year. Tickets go on sale October 26th. And if you go to ellentube.com, you can enter for a chance to win, baby. The one and only Britney Spears. She did that. You better work, baby.
Bless his heart. We didn't hear anything. Britney literally waved and just walked. And the reason I say this is what started the Free Britney movement, because that weird announcement happened, and then this happened. Britney posted this photo to Instagram with that caption saying she's canceling the show because her dad is very sick. And then she disappeared. She went MIA and was not posting anything on social media, and fans got worried. Fans got so worried that Britney finally addressed it in the video. Look.
Hi guys, just checking in with all of you who are concerned about me. All is well. My family has been going through a lot of stress and anxiety lately, so I just needed time to deal. But don't worry, I'll be back very soon.
Britney did not come back. That video was a lie. What would come out later was she was in a mental health facility and she was taken against her will, and according to her, given lithium, and there was paparazzi pictures of her getting dragged out of there by Sam, and that is what started the original Free Britney movement.
This would spark huge interest from fans and the public because people are wondering what's going on with Britney, why is she quitting music? It got even more real when she checked herself into a mental health facility, and people were really, really worried about her. And what started as just a few concerned fans would blossom into a massive Free Britney movement that would, I don't know, take the world by storm. So many people were now concerned what was going on in this conservatorship and how can we get Britney out of this thing? In 2019, Sam Lutfi releases these voicemails that he had between Britney and this guy, John Erdley, who's an attorney she was trying to hire to get her out of this conservatorship. And in these voicemails, she talks about how she's basically threatened into working, and they use her kids and hold them over her head to force her to do what they want.
I was just saying I want out of this conservatorship. I've been blackmailed by visitation of my babies by this conservatorship. I'm confined, restrained, and stripped of my civil rights, and I demand the state of California to review this case because I feel it's illegal.
For the second voicemail, Sam posted another photo of Britney and her sons, and Britney is heard saying that her father threatened to take away her kids.
Hi, my name's Britney Spears. I called you earlier, but I'm calling again because I just wanted to make sure during the process of ending the conservatorship that my father has threatened me several times that, he'll take my children away.
And in the third video that Sam shared, Britney is allegedly heard requesting a new lawyer back in 2009, which she only finally received earlier this month.
It's heartbreaking to hear, and unfortunately, because she's deemed incompetent to choose her own attorneys, this does nothing, and he's unable to help her, even though he does file paperwork to get her out of this conservatorship. Then on August 24th, 2019, this doctor who's been treating Britney for quite a while, Dr. Tim Benson, he's scheduled to give a report of his treatment, how things are going, the progress, basically just a status update. And just weeks before he's due to show up at trial for this report, he ends up unresponsive, supposedly from an aneurysm. Now, the timing's weird enough, but it's very obvious from these leaked voicemails and emails and just things we've seen over the years. The conservatorship was actively trying to suppress Britney and any attempts to get her out of this conservatorship. But that would all change in June of 2021 when Britney herself would show up at the courts and she would testify to the abuse, the trauma, just everything going on with this conservatorship. And with the rally and the support of the public behind her, finally some change was made, and Jamie Spears decided to terminate the conservatorship for good. This was huge. Britney finally got her freedom. And I've got the full recording from Britney's testimony talking about the conservatorship. It's 22 minutes long, super intense. I definitely think you should listen to it. I'll put the link in the description. It's too long to put in the video, and I didn't want to just cut it up because she says a lot of good stuff. So check it out. I'll put the link down there. But by this point, she was pretty much retired. She hasn't been doing any more music, and the only real presence or anything we really see about her is on her social media. That is until a couple of days ago when she deleted her Instagram account.
Britney Spears is stepping back from social media. The singer has deleted her Instagram account following several posts about her health, as well as her and ex-husband Kevin Federline's sons, Sean and Jaden.
And likely that's because there's tons of people talking trash about her terrible dance moves. And how she has a gap in her teeth.
There is a difference between normal blurring due to poor quality versus extreme blur and glitching. Even if the video appears to have good quality, her face is computer generated. And this is why you see so many issues when slowed down. Her teeth are a mess in this video. Seriously? What is happening here? Here, she barely moves and her whole face glitches. Her face is literally scrambling. This isn't motion blur. She is barely moving.
Enhanced screenshots from Brit's wedding. Super creepy.
looks like she's wearing a wig.
Let's say you're drunk at a bar and you're hammered and you've got, they call your beer goggles on. Let's say you're a guy, I don't know, or a girl, and you think you're taking home Britney Spears. Like, oh my God, Britney is, I'm gonna get lucky tonight. Then you take them home, you take them to bed, you have a great night, and then you wake up in the morning and you realize that this is who you fucking took home. And then you begin to realize they had a wig on the whole night, and when they took their head off, their hair came off and they're bald. And they have a short dude cut.
Her voice and words are pretty much nonsensical.
Do I have anything in my teeth? You guys need to go to Six Flags! Just cuddle in the snow, butt-ass naked. Do flips around there in the snow, lay in the snow and do snow angels. Don't keep her covered, let her go. You know what I mean? Like, woo! Woo! Woo!
So she's kind of sick and tired of seeing all the hate and the negativity about her posts, so she decides to take it down. And why are people saying all these things about her posts? Well, because they all think that she's an AI-generated version of Britney Spears. It's not the real Britney. And check this video out where her eyes literally change mid-video. This is insane. This is almost the most definitive proof for me that this is definitely AI video.
Watch Britney's face as her hands go up and down. You can clearly see her eye color change from brown to blue and then back to brown. I definitely think that they are using a body double with blue eyes to portray Britney online.
I would have to say my favorite food of all time is pepperoni pizza, definitely.
What's my favorite food is a chili hot dog. What's your favorite music video of yours? My favorite music video is probably Slave. Yeah. The first question that you mainly ask me is what my favorite song is. My favorite song is Toxic that I have done.
My favorite video to shoot was Toxic.
What's my favorite flower? It's a rose.
Laura from Orlando asks, what is your favorite type of flower? My favorite type of flower, I love morning glories and I love lilies.
My favorite restaurant is Mastro's, just because I love a steak and baked potatoes.
My stomach is so sensitive. If I have a steak, I'll be sick for 3 days.
You're kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, again, her eyes are open, but the filter's not adjusted. The nose is doing some weird Coraline Pinocchio shit. Hair is coming off. Nose is gone. Nostrils gone. It's like a Picasso. Maybe far away you're like, yeah, that looks like a Britney Spears, but up close it's just a big old fucking mess. And I feel bad for this dog. See the white line right here? So yeah, motion blur, sure. But look at the dog's paw. Oh, he just grabbed a little piece of her shadow. Good for him. He has a little piece of her. They will always be together. This dog, I hope it's AI generated, because this dog is freaking the fuck out. I'm afraid for the dog. Where he gets really weird and contortion. He's gonna twist the dog. The dog's failing. The dog's just like, bitch, please. And look how weird and elongated her hands are getting. Okay, so now she's, think about it. She's twisting her arms, remaining stationary. And she does a full fucking twist. And then look how wide. This is the top of her finger, this is the thumb. Claws. Other hand. She has 1, 2, 3. She has lobster hands to hold her dog. She's a real clutch. Hold my lobster dog. Again, look at the hand. I didn't zoom in by myself. This is the first time I've ever seen it zoomed in. I'm not sleeping tonight, I guess. Something's happening here. It's a color bleeding in. This is being used to guide the neck and place it, but she's not moving. And also, what the fuck is this? This is like a different necklace that for some reason they didn't do a good job photoshopping out. It just doesn't go with the body. Now it's still staying pretty stationary. Now she's gonna move. Now she's like, yeah, I think I'll move now. Cute and so fucking stupid.
She never has had missing teeth on her bottom row, and she has never had all gum on the bottom row.
This person looks like a baby's mouth when they start to cut teeth. Half of them are missing and half of them look like they just broke through the gum. And this person has no bottom teeth. No bottom teeth. Same here, and here looks like a row of gums with the teeth starting to grow in the front. No bottom teeth. Same here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and this one is quite alarming, but clearly no bottom teeth. And same here.
The point is, a majority of Britney's videos, she is usually hiding her bottom row of teeth or she is missing her teeth. Ask yourself this: why has her smile completely changed?
And I've got to say, if you watch a couple of these videos, like, either she's really strung out or it's AI. The significance of this is that if this is AI, then the real Britney may not be in full control of her life like we think she is. There might still be someone pulling the strings, still controlling her social media, and her friends have always said that she never has controlled her Instagram, any of her social medias. It's always been controlled for her, just like everything else in the conservatorship. And we've got to talk about this intimate, magical, fairy tale wedding that Britney Spears had with Sam Asghari, I think is how you say it. This wedding was so weird. All the pictures seem super AI generated, and it was such a small, intimate wedding with just a few big celebrities that I guess are Britney's friends. But where's all the pictures of Britney? There's like hardly any. It's not until like a year later for their first anniversary that Sam releases a few pictures of him with Britney. So weird.
Look at the hands of Britney and Sam. Britney hand clearly blends into his hand, into his coat jacket, and her thumb color is the same as his skin color. And you can clearly see Britney's has white nails in this screenshot, but I realized that in the after party, they are completely different. And then I looked behind them, and I have no clue why Kathy Hilton was even at the wedding, but her leg is missing in the back. Like, it makes no sense. Like, something really weird is going on, really fishy.
I know y'all know about green screen, okay? And Sam, her husband from this wedding, like, the veil is lifted, okay? No, Sam has a very, very amazing green screen room where he can do all kinds of stuff. I mean, go to his Instagram. He shows it all the time. He's an actor. He's a writer. He's a director. He's all into technology. Like, you don't think he was planted there, okay? I don't trust anybody who says he wasn't. Okay, anyway, hand going through Paris Hilton's hair. Boom. Boom. That is green screen all day, day. Madonna's arm disappearing into the background. All right, you got green screen going on and you got Madonna's arm. Like, all of a sudden becoming the flowers in the background. These are just very strange occurrences, along with Madonna's hand disappearing into her dress. I mean, yes, you could say, well, her hand is angled that way and it's like in the dress kind of, but you would still see the fingers on the other side of her fingers, and then her finger disappears pulling some Houdini stuff. My strong hand. Yeah. And then Selena, I don't know what is happening here, but when they go, Britney, or whatever it is at the end, Selena pulls her arm out from the back. I believe that she's has like her dress like hanging over her shoulders, like the top part. So her hands are actually, or her arms are in the sleeves. They're hanging over the shoulders, you know, that style. But then when they all like, you know, cheers or lift their hands up to say Britney or Vogue or whatever it is, Selena's arm doesn't come all the way out. So it's like she's got her own strong hand going on there or something. I don't know. It just looks funny. It looks odd. It looks created. They're hiding stuff. I mean, guys, it's not that hard. Something's going on.
Did this wedding even happen? Doesn't seem like it. And these picture flaws are not small. They're like pretty legit. Plus, Sam's job is working in film, doing movies. He's got this crazy green screen room where he can do all kinds of magic. Movie magic, AI magic. Also, why would she invite Paris Hilton to her wedding when she just made a post talking about how Paris Hilton was making up that she was at Cade Hudson's birthday party, claiming that she must have been photoshopped into this photo. Something's really weird here.
Look closely. Do you notice anything strange? Look at Britney's fingers. Something is very off about them. That is not Britney's fingers. Something else is very wrong with this picture. Now look closely at Britney's necklace. Half of it is missing. Paris Hilton added Britney into the picture to make it appear like she was at Cade Hudson's birthday party. Britney was not at Cade Hudson's birthday party, and she said on Instagram that it was creepy that Paris posted that photo.
And I don't know why this is so funny to me, but it is. Britney's ex-husband, his name is Jason Alexander. They were married for a total of 55 hours. I'm pretty sure that they were like childhood friends or something, but he comes in real hot, planning to crash this wedding, and he live streams it.
Tell me.
You have to leave.
Hey, where's Britney at?
You have to leave.
Hey, tell me the truth. Where's Britney at?
You have to leave.
Britney!
No.
Britney gotta have a gun.
No.
Hey, Britney. Hey, where's Britney at, bro? I'm Jason Alexander, first husband.
Oh,
I'm here to crash the wedding, bro. Fuck that. So here's the inside scoop, guys, of the bullshit wedding. Jason Alexander. What's up? You love roses? Who are you?
What's up? Michael.
Michael, that's Michael, guys. It's Jason. First husband, here to crash it. No, my name's Jason Alexander. Britney invited me here. Britney Spears invited me here. She's my first wife, my only wife. I'm her first husband. I'm here to crash the wedding because nobody's here but Sam. So where the fuck's the family and there's Cade right there. Cade!
Go over there, man.
Cade! Come here, Cade!
Let's go.
And I honestly find it really strange that the last actual sighting of Britney by anybody other than her social media, her Instagram, these super weird videos where she never talks, is from the wedding. Where's she been? Where's Britney?
Leave Britney alone!
And that's what's got people freaking out, that maybe she's already gone. Maybe they already did something to her, and they're using this social media presence to make it seem like she's still around. Makes you wonder, really. So I don't know, drop it in the comments whether you guys think this is the real Britney or not, because I don't know, there's times when I'm like, definitely not. What's with the gap? And then there's times when I'm like, it could be her. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. Also, all of these dance videos are filmed in like the same area, so it makes it seem like she's on like house arrest or still stuck living in her house all the time. We've got reports about her being drunk and freaking out on a flight, although the video I saw didn't really show anything about that. And then we've also got this report about her being drunk at some restaurant and freaking out at the manager and then taking off in her car and driving erratically on the wrong side of the road. Now, the manager of the restaurant backed her up and said that she was not in fact inebriated in any way. And then when you see this video of her driving, it doesn't even look like she's driving on the wrong side of the road. So I don't really even understand what all the fuss is about, but there's some fuss. And it made me wonder, why are they making her look like 2007, 2008 Britney again? And on top of everything else, we've got this K-Fed memoir biography book that came out called You Thought You Knew, that basically just spends the entire book slandering Britney, talking about how she was addicted to the white powdery coffee table substance, talking about how she stood in the doorway of her kids' rooms with knives, just acting really strange. He says that this conservatorship was her lifeline and it was a good thing. And he talks about how she was unfaithful to him, like calling Justin Timberlake before their wedding, and just talks about how she was not faithful. So what is this renewed interest in smearing Britney Spears? Britney smears. And that's when it hit me, you guys. This feels just like Aaron Carter, or Michael Jackson, or Whitney Houston. Literally so many people have followed this same trajectory, and Britney found her way out, but I don't feel like they're going to give up that easily. Plus, if you consider, just like all of my other stories, Britney has reached the end of her career. She is at the end of her cycle. She is no longer touring, making albums, doing anything to bring in new money. So what's a good way to increase profitability and sales when an artist is no longer serving that purpose? And most of Britney Spears' albums were on Jive Records. Jive was eventually brought into RCA Records, which is under the Sony parent company. The guy that runs RCA Records, his name is Peter Edge, and the bulk of his career was spent working for Clive Davis at Arista Records. So I ask you guys, do we need to be worried about Britney? And not for her own safety from herself. Do we need to be worried that something might happen to Britney? Plus, with her deleting her Instagram, who knows what's going on with her now? If that is true, that it really was her, not AI, probably did hurt her feelings. So I really don't know, you guys, but it gave me some bad feelings, and I want to know what you guys think. Is Britney next? What can we do about it? Britney's story just highlights the need for us to humanize celebrities. Because yes, they are famous, yes, they are celebrities, but they're also human beings. They're people. They have feelings. They get sad. They get scared. They get nervous. They get overwhelmed. We've got to treat them like humans, because they are, most of them. Some of them are lizards. It's something I'm definitely going to keep my eye on, and I really hope, for Britney's sake and for ours, that she's going to be okay. Because, man, we love Britney Spears. We love Britney. I really appreciate you guys sitting, chilling, listening, hanging out with me for this long. If you haven't watched my Aaron Carter episode, that was probably the episode that got my channel off the ground. It is a really good one, and I will link it at the end of this video as well as in the description. So go check it out, as well as many other stories. There's lots of them, so go check them out. But I look forward to doing this again with you guys next week for, yet again, another one. But until then, sleep safe, stay sober. I'm Britney, bitch.
Police were sent to Britney Spears' home when they were alerted by her fans. Her fans were concerned that the 41-year-old princess of pop was in danger after she deleted her Instagram account. Britney's Instagram often featured her dancing in her home in various outfits. A recent string of cryptic posts, the changing of her name on Instagram to River Red, made this deletion of her account alarming. The police determined that Britney Spears was okay at the end of their visit. Let's hope that she is okay. Pray for Britney Spears.
Later, sobers.
Let's go.